Hi teachers, and welcome back to Lesson Gems. My name is Brother Lammers. I have the lesson that is assigned for Tuesday, April the 6th, or the lesson in your seminary teacher curriculum that is lesson number 58, covering sections 45, verses 1 through 8. Let's get right into it, and it was very exciting for me as I read the desired outcome, because I love studying the names and titles of Jesus Christ to help me to understand his character. So as I got excited about that desired outcome and what I can do to take these wonderful materials and then to adapt it to my needs, let me share with you how I want to teach this lesson, some possible ideas that you could adapt into your planning of this lesson. My learning activity, or my readiness, is I want them to consider the importance of a name. And so I want you to judge your class right away. You know your students. If they can jump in and speak about Jesus Christ right away, don't do number one. This is just a way to kind of get their toes in the water to get them ready to jump in. And so judge your class right away and then consider which question you'll use first, because they're the same question but designed to emphasize Jesus Christ and the names and titles thereof. So invite them to think of someone that they know in their school that is just the best person. Everyone loves them. What is one word you'd use to describe them? And then play out that process. Why that word? Tell me about that person. Good. But then do the same thing with Jesus Christ. If you were going to describe someone you love who Jesus Christ is, what is one word or name or title that you would use to describe him? What if somebody used a derogatory word? What would be the difference? Why are the names so important to describe someone and something? So in your opinion, why is it important? As they go through this activity of emphasizing the names and the importance thereof, Elder Schmidt invites us, and that's where I go right now. I say, okay, we have the importance established. That readiness has brought us together. One simple way to get to know someone is learning their name. What about learning the names of Jesus Christ? Look for how Elder Schmidt's inviting us, and then the promised blessings if we consider following his counsel. As they consider these names and titles and attributes of Jesus Christ, invite them to write down this bolded statement. That bolded statement is the desired outcome for today. We're going to study the names of Jesus Christ, but let's model it for them first. This next activity is a great way to just walk through with them and then invite them to do it with you. Invite them to open to section 45, verses 3 through 5, and highlight the word advocate, or to look for, as they're reading the word advocate, what it is a name of title of Jesus Christ. What is their understanding of the word advocate? And maybe they don't know what advocate means. So invite them, if they have their Gospel Library app, or if you have your Gospel Library app, plug it out and share this with them. If you, in your Gospel Library app, will touch on section 45, verse 3, and so we have section 45, verse 3, if you just highlight the word advocate just like that, there's this option menu that says define. And if I hit the word define, it gives me this definition. Now that I have a definition of advocate, how does that understanding help me to understand Jesus Christ better? Advocate, according to the verses, how is Jesus Christ fulfilling that definition? It's wonderful, but now let's invite them to expand on it, and here's how I like to use quotes. It is something I've adopted from a teacher that I was observing recently. They were highlighting these quotes, copying them, and then right before they share the quote, they have a good look for question, but they text it to their students, and their students have it right there on their phone. And so that looks just like this. I highlight that, I have it copied, or now I invite my students to copy it, and I go into section 45. Once I'm in section 45, I highlight the word advocate, like I'm going to mark it, and that's great because I hit note. And once I hit note, I can just I can just paste that quote from President Nelson right into my Gospel Library app. And so when I come back to it, here's this wonderful quote from President Nelson that Jesus is our advocate of the Father, and it helps me to understand it. Walk through these things with your students. Model how to do it with them. Is after they've broken down and they've used this word advocate to try to understand Jesus Christ, how can knowing that Jesus Christ is your advocate help you to understand him more? You've walked it through with them. You've modeled how to tear apart the name advocate. Now, invite them to do it on their own. A possible resource that you can use is Sister Susan Easton Black wrote an amazing book, and there was a condensed article within the Liahona now that gives you the names of Jesus Christ. There are 100 different names and titles used for Jesus Christ, and here's that article that's wonderful. But what I've also done for you is I've taken it and I've put it into a bookmark for you that you can copy and print, and then it is on both sides, all 100 names, listing the name, how many times it's seen within the Book of Mormon, and one reference where that name is used within the Book of Mormon. And so if we're looking at that as a way to use to practice, invite them to choose one name and to tear it apart. Encourage and invite them to try to find a quote. We've done the prophetic practice quotes. They can open up their Gospel Library app, type in their name, narrow down the search to just the modern prophets or to President Nelson. Encourage them to try to find a scripture to link to add into their study, and then to take notes on anything that stands out to them about the name that they chose and what they are learning. This study can help them to learn more about Jesus Christ's names, but a practice I'll encourage you as a teacher to do so is, if you choose to do this activity, walk around while your students are doing it. And you'll see if there's one or two students that did a good job with it, invite them to share with the students what they did and how they tore apart that name and the things that they learned. And if you have the resources available, consider plugging that phone or your student's phone into the TV and having them model what they learned. There's nothing better than having a student reinforce or model what they've just learned to help the students buy in and to see, okay, yeah, this was fantastic. As we leave this invitation to act with them, an invitation to act is sometimes we just invite them to share within the class what they're learning, and we consider them to, or invite them to consider, continue learning about Jesus Christ. Consider studying those names, titles, and attributes of Jesus Christ, because they show his love, power, and mercy. They teach us how to increase our relationship with the Father and the Son. And then they invite us and show us ways that we can emulate or try to act like Jesus Christ. Teachers, I love this lesson. Again, I love the curriculum team. They're doing such a wonderful job of providing such amazing resource and desired outcomes for us so that we can be Christ-centered, scripture-based, and learner-focused. Follow these examples and you will have a wonderful, powerful lesson testifying to the converting power of Jesus Christ. Teachers, we love you. We are so humbled by all that you do to love these students. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll talk to you next time.